to add something on to that subject, there is an interesting story that just happened last week in Quebec. There was one of the major tobacco control group of Quebec had a job offer for a webmaster, and one of the demands for the job, it was that the person had to be a non-smoker or an ex-smoker. So I called the Canadian press to get the story out, and of course the journalist called the group in question and the Human Rights Commission. And the funny thing is that before we filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission, they stated to the journalists, to the media, that the smokers were not a protected group under the Charter, and that if we wanted protection, and this is a subject that we've been dealing with in Canada for many years, is that if we want to get protection under the Charter, the only way we could do it is to accept the fact that we smoke as being a handicap. It's the only way. And the spokesperson for the Human Rights Commission, again last week, stated that the same thing, saying, well, if someone wants to complain, the only way they can probably do it is like that. But it has been tried before, because it was tried in British Columbia, and it was refused. So the goal of at least the Canadian and the tobacco control in Canada right now, and they told it to my face, dollars for smoke-free Canada, whatever. The guys told me to my face, what we want is to criminalize people like you. Period. That's their aim. All these bylaws where you can't smoke anywhere. Now we have a city where you can't smoke on the street.
Devon.
No, in Canada.
Bridgewater.
In Nova Scotia.
Bridgewater.
Bridgewater also. So, by doing all these bans absolutely everywhere, where even outside you're not able to smoke, you're always, and if you don't pay the fines, you're going to jail. So this is their way of criminalizing us. And they're doing exactly the same thing with obese people, because obese people are not protected under the Charter either, at least in Canada. So even with the Human Rights, it's unacceptable for a Human Rights Commission to make a decision without even being asked. So what kind of independence is that? We never did the request. Nobody has ever asked you anything. And you have already made a decision in 5 minutes over the phone? So that's how it works with the Commission.
Thank you. I mean, if it's not a handicap, can't we make something like sexual orientation out of it?
No, only sexual...
Like oral sex with that object or burning object or things like that?
No, sexual orientation is very precise in the Charter as gender, religion, and sex. That's it. Sex meaning male and female.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't mind, I actually wouldn't mind being classified as disabled. Have you ever tried to get a parking space in London?
Right. I mean, when I came here this morning, I found this sign at a Belgian parking spot for disabled people, and the sign said, if you take my parking space, you also have to take my handicap.
I got it here. I would like to remark here as just anybody. It reminds me very much of something I said for a long time, so some of you may be familiar with this. But with all respect to history, we are the Zionists, or the Jews, who in 1997 go to a Nazi tribunal and saying that they want equality. What do you think would have happened then? To make another example, we are the blacks of 1952 in Alabama, which go to an all-white tribunal and ask that the Hang a Men Today program be stopped. Or we are like the blacks in South Africa, asking that their strange mixture of Dutch and English, I don't remember the name, as language, Afrikaans, thank you, would be abrogated. And we do that with a petition. What would we have obtained? We continue to believe that we can turn to the system in order to get the system, render justice. The antis are the system. Now, I will not presume to tell you what to do, but I ask you to take one thing. What did the South African, the blacks in Alabama, and the Jews have in common then and today? Think about that. Not only try to irritate Israel a little bit today and see what you get. Try to go to Detroit, where I lived for many years, and call somebody an enemy, I will say the bad word, and see what happens to you. No, actually not Negro, nigger. I didn't want to say it because it's an extremely diminishing word in the English language and should be avoided. But considering that we are at the receiving end, what do we do when, what happened when if you go now to a Jewish community anywhere, can you mock a Jew? It's even improper to make a joke about Jews today. Gays were in the same situation, weren't they? Until they decided to have a long, long march in San Francisco. They did something and they became something. The state did not understand the justice, but they understood the force. That's why they are a protected right. Protected gays, protected blacks, protected disabled, but the principle is not understood. So if we have to carve a space for us, we're going to have to do it by using certain techniques, which I don't even know what they are, that they're going to bring us to a protected status. But since the state doesn't want to protect us, we have to become a political problem, no? Because otherwise the politicians, with all due respect of those in the room, which I deeply respect, they won't get it because it's an equation of force. Sorry for that. I mean, I just want the place.
Thank you.
I'd like to really feel about that. That's why I have to say. Yes.
I personally know your ideals. I personally know what you want out of this deal. But I'd like the room to know what is the compromise you're willing to make as a smoker towards an intolerant non-smoker?
Absolutely. Give me the microphone. I think that your question is irrelevant and illogical. Why? Because the compromise presumes the existence of two forces that are strong enough to destroy each other, and therefore, out of fear for mutual destruction, they choose peace. So each one is willing to give something in favor of the other in order to coexist. When we have a group of desperados on one end, and you have a group of powerful bureaucrats on the other one, coordinated by the World Health Organization, financed by the largest industry in the world, compromise is a pitiful self-delusion, because you start on your knees and you get a kick in the ass, because there is no one who has any gain in compromising with us until we become a political problem.
But I'm not saying collectively. I'm saying to your friend, non-smoker, you as a smoker,
It's not
what
a friend.
are you willing to... No, I'm not talking collectively. I'm saying I have a non-smoker friend, let's say. What respect should I expect out of him, and what respect should I be giving back on a personal basis?
That's very simple. My personal behavior, and it's my own, is very simple. I come to your place, I do not smoke. You come to mine, I smoke. It's very simple. If I light up a cigarette, I go out in your place. If you start bitching, you go out of my place.